And we are live. So welcome everybody to today's interview. My name is Angela Hardy. I've spent my entire life trying to figure out how to hack life. And what I mean by that is I've really been looking for a better experience. I'm looking for an opportunity to be happier, to be more calm, to be more peaceful, to enjoy my life more, to have a better emotional state, to have a better physical state, the whole 9 yards. And as a result of that, I got very much involved in personal transformation and personal development work. And so what I do now as an adult is I literally spend my time teaching people how to love themselves, how to find emotional well-being, to find peace, to find calm, to find confidence, to find self-esteem, to find a sense of well-being and worth that makes them feel like they can live comfortably in this body, in this world. And apropos of that, I've been doing a series of interviews all about how to hack life, all the kinds of things that can help you to have a better experience in your life. And today we're talking to Martel Roddick. And this is her right here. Martel is a friend of mine. And my husband was on Facebook, as he is a lot. And he was doodling about on Facebook. And he said, oh, my word, I saw this amazing post from Martel. And I was like, yeah, tell me about it. And he said, well, it said something like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't actually see the post myself. Yeah. It said something like, somebody asked me, what is the most important thing in your life? And I thought, well, you know, is it my relationships? Is it my children? Is it my career? Is it my body? What is it? And she said, no, the most important thing in my life is conscious breathing. And of course, that was sufficiently interesting for Brett to go, hello, this sounds interesting. And he came to tell me immediately. And I went, whoa, we have got to interview Martel on this channel because I want to know all about how that statement came about. So thank you very much for joining us today, Martel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Angela. I was quite surprised when you asked me to do this interview because no one has ever asked me to speak about the breath.
Oh, really?
Know? It's not something that people really show much interest in. So I'm really happy to be here today with you and to share what I can share from personal experience. I'm not a teacher of the breath. I'm just a person that has, by myself, found certain things that really worked for me and saved my life, actually. And I would really love to share it with you guys in case I can change a life. So thank you.
I'm really, really looking forward to hearing your entire journey and your story and how you got into it and how it works and what meaning it has for you. So why don't you start with telling us how, obviously you've been on this mission yourself, this mission of finding a way to live life well, to be well in your life. Why don't you tell us how you got into breathwork in relation to that?
Okay. I was long ago, when I was very young in my 20s, I was a naive little girl and very innocent. And one day, just bam, things in my life just started falling apart. Okay, on all levels, literally. It was such a shock to my system. I think that everything I knew about life collapsed. From my past, my entire past became meaningless to me. There's quite a sound in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear it.
You've suddenly gone a little bit quiet, like you're in the bathtub.
Yes, there's quite a noise on the other side, but it's silent now.
Oh, okay, carry on. We can hear you now.
Okay. So my entire past felt like it was meaningless, really. Nothing that I knew proved to be true on many levels. It's difficult to explain, but that's not as important as the fact that I felt very lost. My entire past was meaningless for me at that point. And because of my past being destroyed in a way, I felt that I couldn't project the future. Because usually you project your future based on your past. You don't know it actually, but even sitting in this room, I see the room, I project the room based on my past. It's a strange thing to explain, but so when your past is gone, you almost cannot see in front of you. It's just like blackness. I could see the room, but there was a blackness of I don't know how to move one more step forward.
Mm,
And underneath me, the present moment was completely, there was nothing below me to support me.
mm,
It was just a feeling of complete loss on all levels. So you feel like your past is now just black, your future is from the next second is just black, and what is below you, there's nothing. It's just one big
mm,
abyss, basically, like a cliff, like an endless, infinite cliff. Darkness. It's just nothing. So I was so lost, and I was because I was so innocent or young before then. I had no method to cope with this because I never had to cope. I had a beautiful childhood, I had a beautiful life. I didn't need tools. My life was supporting me on all levels. People were supporting
mm,
me. So suddenly I was just, there was nothing. I couldn't even think of God. Like, where's God? I can't see him. I'm sorry, but I couldn't see him. It was like, I need something here. So then I had two options. When you're in that place, you realize there's really two options. You either have to die, which is an
mm.
option. People do it every day.
Right.
Or you have to live. Okay. But I didn't know how to do that. So I was, okay, am I going to kill myself? Because that's the only real way to die right now. Or am I going to live? And luckily for me, I didn't have any urge to die. I didn't feel like I really wanted to die. Oh, I hear the sound again. Straight,
Mm.
who's gone?
And now you're back.
Um, I had no urge to die. It was more, I didn't know how to live, which is very much
Mm.
in line with what you are teaching on how to live
Right.
a good
How
life.
to live.
So at that point, I had to make the choice, death or life. And for me, it was very kind of, I didn't think long about it. I was sitting in my room, I remember, and it's not going to be death. Okay, so
Mm.
I'm going to live. But with my past being gone, my future being gone, my present being a complete just emptiness, how do you live? What do you do? I can't. I really
Yeah.
can't. And the truth was that I couldn't,
Mm.
uh, because I have been living my life through my identity. Here I am. I'm a person. I'm Marcel. And I realized that Marcel couldn't do this. I I've tried. It didn't work. I cannot do this. So I was okay. That means I will have to die. No, but I don't want to die. So, okay, back. I have to live. Okay, how do I live? I don't know how to live. And at some point, I'm like, okay, you are still here. So how is that happening if you don't know how to live?
Mm.
And that made me think. But then there must be something that is alive in spite of me. I I'm not me. I realized that.
Right.
So I said, okay, so I'm going to start living my life. Um, But I'm not going to do it because I don't know how to do this.
Right.
Life is going to have to live me.
Yes.
Life must live me. I can't do this. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to kill myself. So life is going to have to live me. I don't know how to do it. I'm not doing anything. So it was literally. I remember feeling like I was hanging on a cliff. It's my fingertips. There's the sound again. So I'm just going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was hanging on a cliff, on the edge of a cliff, and there was this blackness underneath me. And I remember saying, I'm going to let go. I'm going
Just
to
a
let
moment.
go. It was a bit like the identity.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Just a moment. Let's give the
So,
sound a chance to come back.
let me see if my phone is off. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now again. Carry on.
Okay. I was basically hanging off a cliff and saying, I'm gonna let go. I said to life, I'm gonna let go now, and I'm gonna fall into the darkest infinite abyss. And I'm just gonna change, and I'm just gonna transform as you change me and transform me, because I am hands off. I don't know how to do this life thing. You do whatever you want to do. If you want me to anything, you want me to be a doctor tomorrow and the next day a CA or a beggar on the street, I'll be that. I'm just gonna let go. And I fell, and I just let my fingers go, and I said, I'm going. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But then when you say that, you still need some kind of, because you're still there. There's still a
Yeah.
I am. I'm not
Right.
myself, but I am there.
Yeah.
There's an awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I needed to find something, some way to ground myself inside of the everything that life was now. Life wasn't
Right.
me anymore. Life was now the whole room, the whole
Yeah.
thing that I'm experiencing. And I couldn't find anything. And I suddenly felt, oh, I can feel my breath. I can actually feel my breath. That's a place,
Right.
within this nothingness of everything, there's my breath. And I
Yes.
was so grateful to suddenly find something that I could like anchoring with. You
Yeah.
actually like holding me. It's like it's strong. But I decided that I would just say I don't know sound this again. I will just hold on to this breath like with both my arms really, and I will not let go. And
Yeah.
it was really there where I clung to my breath like, as if it was a kid hanging onto his mom's leg, was walking over a cliff. It was really like I was literally every single breath was life or death situation because I knew if I'm letting go of this breath, I'm gonna fall back
Right.
into myself. I'm
Mm.
gonna I'm gonna die, or I'm gonna just I don't know how I would live my life. I would have a really bad life,
Mm.
a difficult life. Yeah, it wouldn't be a good life for me anyway. And I just started to, from that moment, I started to hang on to the breath, literally, like I said, with my arms like this, like mommy, mommy. It was like a navel
Yeah.
string for me. It
Yeah.
was very much like a navel string. And I literally breathed. I said, okay, just survive one breath.
Wow.
And I just lived on, and I was like, wow, I survived one breath. It's actually not that hard. And I
Wow.
did the
Yeah.
next breath, and the next breath, and the next day I was still there, and I felt so nice. I felt like I had something that took care of me. It was like a friend, like a not a friend, like a you feel like you're there. You're there. There's something with you. I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
You're not alone in that.
Connected, I guess. There's a
Yeah,
sense of
yeah.
connection that
Yes.
comes to your emotional world, to your physical world, to your spiritual world. There's something that's connecting you
And I
somehow.
had nothing spiritual in my life at the time. I didn't
Yeah.
know what spiritual meant, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, it was just my breath, and I'm holding on to
Right.
it, and it's my anchor.
Yeah.
And and then over a few days, I still had a lot of stress. It's not like everything just got better.
No.
I still had stress. So I started to use the breath and say, okay, this breath I'm going to take now, because every breath I was really hanging on to. So this
Right.
breath I'm going to take now, I'm going to have a holiday. I'm going to, because I don't know what the next hour will bring or the next day. So
Right.
this breath that I'm having now, I'm going to have like, I'm on the island. I'm relaxing. So I would relax. I would just relax completely into each breath from the beginning, slow, and I would stretch it out long, and I would end it in a slow, long, thin way because I want a long holiday. It was like
Yes.
I was living, each breath was a holiday, and I was like, wow. And the breath became smoother and thinner and more relaxing, and this is such an amazing place. And my life just started to sort out by itself. I didn't have to do anything. It just boom, 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 little blocks falling into place, and life started to live me. And when I'm hungry, I know I'm hungry and I eat. I know what to eat. I know what to drink. I know what to do. Like when you contacted me and you said, do you want to do this talk? I don't usually want to go on camera and talk. It's not what I do. And I've never done it. But it came to me.
Yes.
It appeared in my experience.
Yes.
So it's like something arising and saying, hello, do you want to talk? And since I know what it's done to me in my life, I still haven't said really what it did to me, but at least you know now how I got to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I felt it's my duty to speak about this because right now there might be someone who actually feels like I can't. especially with this virus, there's many people who's lost their identity. They've lost their
Yeah.
myself, you know.
Yes.
They don't know who they are. I've lost my job. Oh, I was like so important. I had my tie and I was so important at my job, and now I'm nothing. I've lost my job. My kids are looking at me
Yeah.
like a loser, and my wife is, leaving me. So people's identities are crumbling all across the world, and I felt it's my duty to say to them, if you are here and awakening is here, if you are still suicidal, or if you are in a crisis, identity crisis, you are here, right next to awakening.
Yeah.
And it's like a dark room in between you. It's like a very dark room in between you and awakening. And the breath, if you can take its hand, or like me, grab it, I would suggest that. If you are in a case of where you are almost like suicidal, or you are at the end of your rope, I suggest not holding its hand. I really suggest grabbing it with
Grabbing
all of your life and holding onto the breath, each one breath at a time. You survive just one breath. You don't need two, you just need one. When
it.
you're
Yeah.
done with your breath, next one. And
Yeah.
life will, that breath will guide you. It will hold your hand. It will take you all the way, and you will wake up, literally. And you will start to empower yourself, because now you're not the little me anymore. Now you are what is.
You're the world. You're
That place,
everything.
yeah. And from that place you can start creating. Like you are, actually. You and Brett are both, in my view, are creators. You create. Yeah, really.
We do.
You
That's
are.
true. We
You
do.
are. That's what you are. So, and that is why also why I have a lot of respect for you, and that's why I'm happy to speak here. Really, Angela.
Thank you.
Yes, it's really. So once you're in that place, well, before you get there, you think I'm at the end of my rope. You think I'm going to die, but that's where
Yeah.
you should be. Sometimes your
Right.
family will say to a depressed person, "Oh, I'm not saying you shouldn't say that. I'm not a psychologist. Don't know any of that nonsense, of such stuff. But I just know that if someone says to you in that moment, you can do this, the truth is you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
You
And the
can't.
sooner you realize that, the better. Let go of you and let life
Mm.
take you. But the breath is what teaches you how to flow with life. It's a grounding. It's you are here, and everything around you is you, because you're now life. You're not you anymore, and the
Right.
breath grounds you. So that's basically, I think, your question. Yeah, from how I found it, and
That's
yeah,
really
so
an amazing story.
it
That's
is
really
not the case
amazing.
of, and I wanted to mention that actually, because it's not the case of, oh, the breath, yes, I've done it in yoga or meditation, yes, it's very relaxing. It's not that.
No, it's
Life
not
and
that at
death.
all.
Oh, and then just something that I need to mention to anyone watching, um, why I got a lot of respect for this afterwards was I only later found out that this was the exact practice that Buddha did when he became enlightened. After he gave up
Okay.
on all, he gave up
Right.
on yoga. He was like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. I can't do this. And he remembered when he was small, he did this once. And he went to sit and he did it, and he reached full enlightenment. And then the beauty of the whole thing was that his son came to him and said, Dad, what do I do? How can
Yeah.
I become enlightened? And he said, Rahula, which is the son's name, said, Rahula, and then now you must think, if you are a father and you are enlightened, or you are not this dude, and your
No.
son comes to you and says, what do
Wow.
I do to reach that? He would give him the best advice. And
Yeah.
all he said was, Rahula, my son, forget about everything. Just
Mm.
focus on your breath. And that is
Wow.
the key to everything. And from that you will get mindfulness, and from that you will get enlightenment. It's a path, but it will happen automatically.
Mm.
As certain steps, don't worry about the steps. It will fall into place according to you. Your people, there's different sequences for different people, but it will happen automatically.
Mm.
So it's an
Mm.
extremely sacred process, actually. To holding on
Yeah.
the breath, it's not just a thing, it's a sacred thing. It's life. It's actually life. And 2,500 years ago, he gave that advice, and it's just as applicable because it's life. It doesn't age. It's
Yeah,
infinite. It can't die. It's
yeah.
deathless. So it's a very powerful practice, Angela. And that's why I'm
That
so
is,
happy that you asked me. Thank you again.
yeah. Geez, this is amazing. I'm like, wow, I'm so pleased I asked you. So
Yeah.
I've been listening to this course by Michael Singer, which is amazing. And really, the entire course is exactly about what you're talking about. He's talking about surrender, surrendering to life, surrendering yourself. The construct that we have about who we are, that we hold on to so tightly, the construct that we have about our lives and what we think should be or has to be or needs to be so that we can be happy or we can be well, that we hold on to so tightly. These ideas that we have in our head that says, well, oh, if this, then I can be happy, and only if this, then I
Yes.
can be happy, and if this happens, then I can't be happy. And he's talking all about that whole thing of surrender. Life has been doing itself for 138 million years.
That's the thing.
You do not have to do life. It knows what it's doing.
Yes.
And it's so fascinating to hear from you right at this moment when I'm listening to this course and how he's going on about this. Like life knows what it's doing. Life
Yes.
knows how to do you. It designed you. You didn't do that.
And I
It
think what's hard,
created the sun. You didn't do that.
yes, yes.
You're
And
made
I
up
think
of the elements. You didn't do that.
that
You
is
don't
true.
have to
No,
do.
no,
Amazing.
really,
Yeah. But then the difference between not doing and it's more of a question of taking life as it comes and living it, right? This is what you were
yes,
talking about
yes.
earlier, is let
Let it move through you.
life moves through you. It shows you how to live. It says to you,
Yes,
here's an opportunity, and you say yes to that. And
yes.
phones you up and says, hey, let's talk. You say yes. I'm willing to
It
do life.
flows.
Let's talk.
Yes.
That's
But it does
fascinating.
help to have the breath just to
The breath
with
is
the
so
breath you
right.
kind of more here. You can feel like if someone, for instance, once we had a robbery long ago when I was we started the company when I came to Johannesburg. The moment the person just walked past the shop, it's like your stomach, you can feel it already
Mm.
because you're
Yeah.
here. You feel
Mm.
something. So you become much more sensitive to the moment. You get much more sensitive to the guidance of life.
Right.
Each breath is like a separate life. So you're very sensitive to anything that comes into your field. So that is why it's when we say let life live you, you can still feel like, but how?
Yes,
Well,
this is the how, right?
yeah, just
Okay.
hold on to the breath and it will guide you. You will automatically slow down because you won't be able to do fast things and do that and
Right.
focus on the breath. So it will show you everything. You just have to hang on to it.
Okay. So tell me how you go about it. What give me some kind of description
Okay.
of what as a complete beginner, what do I
Yes.
need to start with? How do I go about this?
Okay. Well, the first thing is we all breathe. That's kind of a bonus. you know, we know how to do that. It's not new. Um, and it's not a religious thing. It's not like Christians breathe differently from Buddhists or non-spiritual people or atheists. We all breathe. It's life,
Right.
life. Life is ours, all of ours.
Mm.
And so you find this, okay, I'm not a teacher of the breath, okay? So this is my teaching from my personal experience. So
Right.
I will also mention some Buddhist views on it, maybe, because
Mm.
they have like 2,500 years of detailed
Yeah.
teaching on just this, what I'm teaching. And by the way, if anyone wants to read up on it, it's Anapanasati. Anapanasati, and
Hold
A-N-A-P-A,
on. I'm gonna A-N-A-P.
A-N-A-S-A-T-I. Anapanasati, and there's no double letter. The double letters. It's all Anapanasati.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna go at the bottom here.
that's really worth reading up on it if you can find something on it. I'm not sure how much understandable, but you find the spot in your nose that is the most sensitive when you breathe. So when you breathe in, Try and find the area. You don't have to, it's not a special place, it's just where you feel the breath the most easily.
Right.
I guess where it's wet, where you feel the
Mm-hmm.
breath. It's like a spot.
Mm.
And when you breathe out, try to feel that spot again, like the
Mm-hmm.
warm air moving through there. So you don't focus on the entire nose area, just find the spot where the breath is touching. Then, now this is the part I would like to mention. In the Buddhist teachings, Buddha was talking about the breath has got a length. Okay, you get short breaths, long breaths. And the breath length, the whole thing they call a body, the body of the breath.
Mm-hmm.
The breath, there's two interpretations of this teaching, and I use both actually on my own, not because of the teachings.
Mm-hmm.
The one is to see the body of the breath move in and out. Okay,
Mm.
so some people see that you must feel the breath move through your body all the way in and all the way out again, in and out. Or you could see this, the body of the breath, as literally just the length of the breath itself. So you feel the area in your nose where the breath touches the most. You feel the breath move in. If this is the spot, the breath moves in and out. Your focus is on that spot. Your focus is not on the
Mm.
breath moving in and out. Because if you in your daily, so this is a practice you do during the day, during the night. I even do it in my dreams. So
Wow.
yeah, so not always. I mean, sometimes I'm
Sure.
completely boof. I don't know I'm dreaming. So you feel the breath, and I think a good explanation actually. Let me think. One of the very good explanations is like a saw that saws the wood. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
where the saw is touching the wood, that's the spot in your nose.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't focus on the saw moving, you focus on that spot,
Right.
feeling the breath in and out, and that's all you have to do. When you're moving around, just be aware of the spot. If you start moving in and out with the breath, you're gonna get tired. You're gonna get stressed. You're gonna get it's gonna be a draining exercise. This is not something you do for as an exercise. This is your life. This is a part of
Okay.
your life. It's like it must become your best friend in everything that you're doing. So as you're moving, I'm gonna pick up this cup. You breathe. You feel the spot. You're not focusing on the spot. You just aware. You know that you're breathing. You know the spot. You just know it. It's a knowing. And as you move, you know that you're breathing out. It's a constant companion. You will become very good friends with your breath. Trust me. So that's all you do. Just something. If you feel lonely, people who feel lonely, I can tell you, you won't feel lonely if you get to know your breath, because your breath will become like a friend. It's a companion, actually. For me, my breath is a companion. I can sit for hours. My husband plays computer games. He says, "What are you gonna do now?" I say, "No, I'm just gonna go sit upstairs." And he says, "What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Oh, just breathe." He knows. It's me and my friend. We're breathing. We're doing it all the time. But it mustn't be effort. There mustn't be control on the breath. You're not trying to make the breath longer or shorter, or you might find in the beginning when you try it, even when you're watching now, you can try and find a little spot in your nose by breathing in. You'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's somewhere around here.
Mm-hmm.
You will know it's specific for
Mm-hmm.
you.
No,
You
completely.
have to live with this. You have
Yeah.
to live with this. Yeah. So some people find it under the nose, even where the
Yeah.
air blows. They find it's more
Right.
sensitive. It's really specific to each person, and you just become aware of that spot in everything you do.
Yeah.
And look, it is hard in the beginning. You might find that the breath is rough, the breath is uneven, and that's not the
Mm-hmm.
problem. You
Mm-mm.
don't have to change the breath as the practice refines. It's not really a practice, as this, what you do, refines. I don't want to call it the practice because it's not a goal.
Yeah. And it's not a
Um,
once off.
yeah, it's something that you are now, this is now your life. This is now
Right.
part of your life. Um, you don't worry about, oh, my breath is uneven, or today I'm stressed, today I struggle. No, just
Which is
Take it
good.
as short breaths, long breaths, rough breaths, smooth breaths. It's not about that. If you hold on, if you continue for long enough, your mind will calm down. The breath will automatically start to smooth out. And something important also at the end of it, actually the breath is like footsteps, footprints towards awareness, towards pure awareness.
Yes. Yes.
So you're not breathing for the breath, you're breathing to reach pure awareness,
Right.
which is where Buddha woke up, like.
Yes.
So, so the breath is a way to get there. It's footsteps that you follow. But once you're there, you can let go of the breath. You know, you can let go of the breath and just be. But you have to get there. You have to have a map, and the breath is the map. So I would say, for me, I don't. I just always use the breath. I don't let go. When I'm dancing, I do let go because I'm not able to disappear into the dance and focus on the breath. I don't think I need to.
Hold on a
So
second, your sound's gone again.
strange, no? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
so yes, the you just find that spot in your nose area, and you start becoming friends. You get to know it. You get to know it. At night when you go to sleep, or if you have to die, and if you're alone and you're dying, even you
right.
hold on to that spot. It is the most important thing you can do for yourself before you die, is to find that place and just hold on to that breath. If you want to do something when you die, at least do that. And also, it is it's the one thing that can bring awakening.
Yes.
It's the key. It's the key. It's like we all have it. We just have to use it. But make it your best friend wherever you go. And start with small things. Right now, you're gonna struggle. Say, I'm gonna I'm gonna walk to the bathroom now,
Mm.
and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be on the breath. Just that. Or I'm gonna make a
Mm.
cup of coffee. Or I'm just gonna lift up my cup of coffee. You'll see that
Right.
it's really hard. So I'm just gonna lift up my cup of coffee. And they, oh, okay. But if you can lift it up, you can put it down also, because it's just about one bite at a time, one breath at a
Right.
time. I survived initially with one breath.
Yes.
You just do one breath, and that's how you move through life, and the life lives through you, and you and your little breath, you just do your thing. You become best friends. You never will feel alone. I think people in old age homes, old people, they often feel alone. They're not alone, lonely in a way. Lonely is the word I'm looking for.
Separated.
Yeah. But when you have the breath, there's no separation. But that
Mm.
doesn't matter. You will see when you focus on your breath, or you feel your breath, you get to know it. You will understand what I mean when you say you won't be lonely again. It's not possible, I think, to be lonely when you on the breath. Um, I hope does my explanation make sense of the
Yes,
touch.
it
You
makes
can
perfect
you're able to follow
one way
that.
to do it. I
Okay.
can't look. I when I teach, I speak to people about awareness all the time because we have to become aware of the nature of the mind, and we have to become aware of the fact that the mind is doing its thing and that we don't have to do anything about it. And
Yes.
so this is, it's like one of the major things that I keep teaching, and I reinforce it and I reinforce it and I reinforce it with my clients all the time. The mind is doing its own thing, blah, 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 blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, the whole damn day. It
All
never
them.
shuts.
It
And it's
doesn't.
doing the thing that is the most habitual selection of the things that it does. So if you are in the habit of telling yourself that you're unworthy or that you're not enough or that you're unlovable or whatever the case may be, then this is the habit of the mind. It's not necessarily an extension of the truth.
Yes.
In fact, it's
Yes.
not an extension of the truth at all. It's got nothing to do with the truth.
It's
It's
not even
just
visible.
chatter.
Yeah, it's not
Exactly.
even visible. No one can touch it or prove it. It's just
Right.
stuff in
It's
your.
just electric zap zap in the brain, blah, 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 and kicks out. a piece of crap. I always talk about it as a brain fart, right? So you have a
Yes,
brain fart, and then you have another one, and then you have another one, and then you have another one. It's just you're
yes,
just surrounded by farts, and just like if your colon was farting, you would know what not to bother to do, and that would be everything. You
yes,
wouldn't bother
yes,
to do anything. But so it's the greatest lesson that I think that I've been teaching my clients. And so for me, what I'm hearing from you with this is this is a step by step, as you said, this footstep way
yes,
of getting out of this experience where you are paying attention to the chatter
yes, yes,
and getting into this experience where you are creating a habit of awareness. And the habit of awareness is the breath in this place, in this moment. But a
yeah,
habit of awareness is a universal thing because it helps us then to be aware that we don't have to worry about our feelings in this moment, and we don't have to pay
yes,
attention to the rubbish of our thinking in this moment, and that we can relax into an experience and let it pass through us and let life happen to us.
yes,
So it's awareness is really important. I guess that essentially what you're doing is a mindfulness practice with breath that
yes,
happens every moment of every day. You are being mindful of your aliveness, of
yes,
your connection to the world through this in and out movement of air, to the fact that you are not Martell, all the ideas that you had around who you were imagined up, or
yes,
the things that people told you were, or the things that people told you had to be, or any of that stuff.
yes.
But in fact, just this connected experience of life that breathes in and breathes out.
And Angela, can I just add something to that?
Yes, please.
Also, especially people, I'm going back to suicide, but especially people who are in that blackness, like
Yes.
right now, there's many people. Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
so many things. But anyway, so I just wanted to say, don't make decisions with your mind. Like you just said, it's like making decisions with farts, like you said, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it
The
from
fart
the
was
brain.
smelly today. That's a yes on the 8 ball. You don't have to do that.
Exactly. So, in the beginning, from no, not just from the beginning, you always have to do it, but be very aware in the beginning. If you come from a place of depression or suicide or something like that, or in a dark place where I was, make your decisions from the breath, which means don't do it when you're not aware of the breath. When you're aware of the breath, you know, I'm here, I'm not listening to nonsense, I'm present, and life is right now in charge. The moment you're running with your mind, life is not properly in charge because you're trying to control things and you're ripping the steering wheel out of life's hands, and he's actually planning
And
to go that way and you going this way, and you crash off the
yeah,
cliff. So
yeah,
don't make rash decisions if you're not on the breath, especially if you're in a dark place. Give
absolutely,
up. Yeah. And the other thing I
absolutely.
wanted to say, Angela, I don't know what your view is, but when I thought about this talk, I realized again, like I said earlier, that when awakening is here and you are normal, it's here. But when you're suicidal or you're very dark, you are right here.
Mm,
Right now in the world, there's so many people that is here,
mm,
and because of this virus and because of all these identities that are crumbling,
mm,
I can really just think that this is the most special and sacred time in all of
mm,
humanity for a big, big awakening. But
mm,
there could be lots of people who's going to not know this, and they're going to fall down and they're going to kill themselves, or
right.
they're going
And choose death
to. Yeah.
because they don't know how to choose life.
Yes. And if we can just help people, like through this talk that you have brought here, to help people, even if you're a beggar on the street and you feel hopeless, you've got your breath, and I promise you, if you can just hold on to that breath, you can change your entire life, and life will start to support you more and more. You might get a job, or people will come into your life, but things will start. Life is not here to make you suffer,
No.
and we suffer because we want to be in charge, and life will bring those things. But if you're sitting on the street and you've got nowhere to go, just hold on to the breath. It's like so important. So if we can just enough people who are here, get them to cross over
Mm.
by means of holding, or like me, wrapping myself.
Raza.
I didn't let go. There's actually a beautiful Buddhist saying. They say, hold on to the breath in the same way than a red ant bites. You can pull his
Wow.
body off,
Okay.
but his head is still clinging. And that's how I was clinging. And I suggest anyone who's in a dark place, cling to that breath because it's
Right.
going to, but do not focus on the results. Just cling to
Yeah.
the breath. Don't worry about mindfulness or awakening. That's not your problem right now. You just hold on to the breath. And that
Right.
breath will get you to where you need to be.
Because I know that the thing that's going to be coming up into people's mind is like, how the hell long am I going to have to hold on to this thing before I feel
Yes.
better? And of course, I suppose
Yes.
there is no how long, but how long did it take you before you started to notice that you actually didn't feel so desperately distraught and
From the
flat?
first breath, Angela, from the first breath.
Oh, okay.
Look, right now, someone might listen to this, and it's still noisy because I'm talking and you're talking, but when you're alone, just take one breath from beginning to end. And when you get a bit comfortable, try to do that. Or try for you, maybe people are different, but for me, the holiday. Make each
Mm,
breath a holiday. If you have a bad, you just heard, listen, you've got maybe some type of cancer. We think you've got 2 weeks. Like my dad did 5 days. It's quick. It's like,
wow.
you know, you can do a lot in 5 days. If
Mm,
you have, or if you have one day left, if you listen to this and you're dying this evening, you can do so much still. You've got so many breaths still. Even if you have one
mm,
breath left, and you can take that breath and feel it from the beginning till the end, and you die. What more do you want from your life? You've lived it in that one breath.
mm,
You have to go deeply into your breath so you can feel good on one breath from the first moment, but you have to hold on to it. You have to really make this important in your life. You, from the first breath, you will feel better. You'll feel, if you can survive this breath, you can do the next one, you can do the next one. And if you've survived 3 breaths, that's quite good for someone who's in a dark place.
yeah.
So it will immediately, but personally, I had no understanding of where this fit. I didn't know about mindfulness. I didn't know about Buddha and spiritual stuff. I didn't know any of those things. So for me, it was just me and my breath. So I didn't really know it's going to help me. If I knew, I would have maybe kept a diary or to
Mm,
say, oh, after 2 weeks, but I don't know. All I can say is that my life just started to fall into place. Boom, 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 like actually ridiculous, really ridiculous things that happened. So I cannot really say. All I can say is that my thought would be my guess. If I had to put my money on a bet, I would put all my money. If I had a bet, I would put all my money on that the first breath the the first
mm,
breath you take would be because life doesn't care how many breaths you've taken. Life just wants to live you. So if
mm.
you surrender from the first breath, I think that's all you need. I think that's you're gonna be support. You're gonna feel it from the first breath. I think for
Well, it's
me, what
interesting to me to consider because I think that your experience of it was you came from this place where you didn't know that this thing was going to hurt you. And so the result of that, I think, is really important because our minds are so busy creating expectations for an outcome. We're so busy grasping onto having what we think we have to have and resisting and rejecting what we don't want that
yeah.
we create expectations for everything in such a grasping way. And that is it's a very big difficulty
Mhm.
when you're trying to connect with breath to the world, to your consciousness, to life living you, to
Yes.
surrender, to all that kind of stuff. Because we're so urgent, you know what I mean? It's like, come on now, bring it already. I'm feeling depressed. I'm breathing, come on. And
Yes.
and
Yes.
this is so I guess in a way, not knowing was a
Yes.
good thing
Wow.
for you because you didn't have this expectation that led you to have some form of, well, if this, then that, or if it doesn't happen by now, then there's disappointment. You just did whatever you could do and found
Yeah.
the result coming from it. And I suppose that that's probably important for somebody who is on this edge right now that is looking for some way of finding this enlightened experience or this awareness experience that can help them to be in a better state and to maybe even just be lived by life a little bit, take
Yeah.
life, enjoy life, have life come flow through them, to not be grasping at life. Because the
Yeah.
grasping is a big part of the problem, isn't it?
That's the ego. That is the identity is the grasping in a certain way. You're grasping to your personality. You're
Yeah,
grasping. You're trying to construct something that's not existent. Really, it's a
yeah,
it's a half boulder of sticks. Really, so it
yeah.
is. Um,
It's a very
I've got a
subtle
beautiful,
concept, actually, that
very
the
subtle,
understanding not to grasp, because
very
it's
subtle.
so instinctive for us to hold on really tightly to what we think will make us feel good and
Yes.
to reject with such vigor what we think will make us feel bad. And that's the habits, the the preferences of a lifetime, right from when we were little children. We said, oh well, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is
Yes.
bad. So we've had this whole
Hmm.
lifetime of things that we now think are good or bad for us that we must either
Yeah.
grasp or avoid. And it's a very subtle art
Very.
to know and to learn to not grasp and avoid. Still something I'll own that I am in the process of learning. You know, I suppose
We
everybody is
all
going to be in the
are.
process of learning it for forever until we
By the
die.
way, I just want to mention also, once I came through that difficult, once my life started to fall in place, I noticed I'm letting go of the breath.
Ah,
You
yeah.
get a bit like, oh, my life is good. I'm in
Don't need
control.
any.
Yeah, you know.
I
Um,
do know.
but because I that is also why I wanted to mention the teachings, the experience of Buddha, and those. I wanted to mention that regardless
Yes.
of whether you're a Christian or atheist or anything, it's not a religious thing. I wanted to mention it because for me, knowing what he went through and knowing what it meant to him, and knowing that there's 2,500 years of detailed scriptures on exactly this, said to me, hey, come back to the breath. You know, otherwise I would have just dropped the breath and started living my life, and it would have happened again at some point.
Mm,
My little stick
mm,
house would be falling apart again. So because of those teachings and knowing how sacred this breath thing is,
right.
I didn't let it go. It got a bit lazy, but it got back into my life because why would I go through this again? Why do I need life to bring pain again, to destroy your life, to get you back, to drop your identity, to grab the breath? No, just get
Yeah,
with the
just
program
keep
and
with the
yourself.
program.
You know, you don't have to go through all this pain. Um,
Yeah.
and a beautiful thing that I've got on my wall actually is a guy who says, I don't know who this is. It's from the year 500 or something, something long ago. Um, if it's like you are on your way somewhere, so if you're on a horse, for instance,
Mm.
you're going to Egypt, I don't know where you're going, and you're like, at that point, you're like, is this horse really going to Egypt? Like, am I, this has been a while now. I've been sick, I've been happy, I've been sad, I've been tired, and these horses are all on the line, and I'm not sure. Stay on the freaking horse, you know,
Right.
stay with the spot. Stay with
Yeah.
it. Am I really getting anywhere with this? No, don't worry about getting anywhere. Just stay there.
Yeah.
Sit on your seat and just breathe. And also don't try to say, I I am breathing so well. I had a good mindful day. It's not you.
Yeah.
Just just breathe.
Yeah.
The moment it becomes today I really did well. No, the little stick house is being built again. The little
Yeah.
identity.
Yeah.
So just breathe. Let the breath and what you see and hear and feel and taste and touch, all those things become one. The
Mm.
mind, the breath is all one thing, actually.
Mm.
It's only the breath, actually, in the end. So we must try not to separate the mind from the object, from the breath. It's not three separate things, it's one thing. So that's, for me, that's quite important. So there's no separation between the mind, object, and the breath. There's
Mm.
just the breath and oneness. For me, people are different, and I think life is the best teacher. So if you hold on to the breath, life will teach you how to breathe. Like I'm learning
Yeah.
to breathe. Later on, you will find that your breath, you start to maneuver your breath in your tummy. It's like but it will happen to you.
Okay.
It's not something you have to worry about. How much that no. You just stick to that spot, and the life will teach you more and more, and life will happen. For me, life happens to me. And
Right.
like when something happens to me, like the virus came, boof. I didn't ask for it. I immediately accept it because
Couldn't
life.
control it.
I'm life. And then
Hmm.
you ask me for this talk, it's like poof, it happened to me.
Right.
But if I had to go out there and say, Angela, can I talk about the breath? It's a different thing. It's not nothing wrong with that, but
No, I mean,
but
if you were inspired to do something, that would be
yes,
life happening to you too. So, like,
yes,
I was
yes,
inspired to do these interviews.
yes,
That was life happening to me. And when Breath said, "Oh,
yes,
Mattel and Breath," I'm like, "Yes, I feel very inspired. That's life happening
yes.
to me because the feeling comes up that says, do that,
Yes, it's
do that.
happening
It's
to you
cool.
in a
Do
way.
that."
It's like a passion that
Right.
comes towards you. Like, oh, I have
Yes.
to do this. So, but it's not like you, individual Mathel, makes this decision. I'm going to go out and change the world. It
Right. You
kind of
don't have
happens to
to.
you. You've got this inspiration that happens to you.
Mm, mm,
But
right.
I
And that, I
guess
think it's a very big part of living life well is that I certainly have seen it with me. It's been part of my whole journey of trying to learn to do life well. And I see it with my clients, of course, all the time as well, which is why I can help there. Is this thing where we somewhere along the way, we've become caught up in thinking of how we have to be, how things have to look, how things have to happen. And we got so trapped in that misunderstanding. And then it's push and shove and drag ourselves kicking and screaming over sharp rocks. And it just, life feels like a freaking great hassle when you live it like that. It's
yes,
hard work, you're dragging yourself along, and it's not necessary. And it's unlearning all that rubbish about thinking that it has to be a certain way. And this is what you've been talking about all this time. Life happens to me. It's going to happen to you regardless. No matter how much you
yes,
think
yes.
you're
That's
in
so well
control,
said.
it's
Yes,
going to happen to you. And the only thing that you have is some influence of energy and excitement and enthusiasm and willingness to do the work like this. Yes, I'll do it. That's
yes, yes,
all that's required
yes,
from you.
yes,
You
yes.
don't have
That's
to
right.
make it. And
Yes,
it's a really tough thing for most of us. We take a long time to unlearn that thing unless you've got this capacity to have somebody say it to you in a way that you understand, or some
yes,
experience of it that lets you helps you to get, oh, wow, all of this hard graft of like beating myself forward in life, pushing myself with a whip, making it happen, it's
yeah,
actually been a waste of effort.
completely.
And we're not saying it's go to the couch and it'll happen. We're saying go to life and it'll instruct you about what's next.
It will instruct you. That's what life is. You can't go wrong. You certainly
No,
can't go wrong.
no, I mean, it's just a really cool game and you're just playing it. So play.
Exactly.
Oh,
I
that's been,
remember when my yeah.
carry on. No, carry
No,
on.
when my father had to leave the farm, he was a farmer, and he decided. He always said he's not going to retire. And one day he's like, "I'm going to sell the farm. I'm going to move, and we're going to retire." And the last day on the farm, my mom saw him looking over the field with a big, like looking, and she said, "What are you sad? What are you thinking?" And he said, "No, I'm just thinking this must be God's plan." So she said,
Mm.
"Why? Why are you saying that?" And he said, "I don't make plans like these." Like I wouldn't make a plan like this. This is not my
Typically.
plan. But you could feel life, something is telling you to do something. And it was the
Yeah.
best decision, because he
Mm.
passed away after that, and she was in a good place. She was not stuck on a farm. She's just allowing life to guide you. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. It's a really big topic, actually. The surrender, this allowing life to live you is a very big topic.
Mm.
Look, it's been absolutely amazing to speak to you about this. I've just loved it so very much. Just so you know, guys, Martel's coming on again on Friday, and we're going to talk about food because Martel has doodled around with vegan, vegetarian, and raw food. In fact, the first time that I ate raw was with you. And
Yes.
I myself have doodled around a little bit with raw food, and it's going to be really fun to talk about just playing around with the options. And if you've been considering being vegetarian or vegan, you're a vegan at the moment, are you not?
A vegan,
Yourself?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a vegan. You did quite a long time where you did mostly or all raw?
No, I did for a few months all raw,
All
and
raw,
then I
yeah.
went to normal vegan, high raw vegan, high
High
raw.
raw
Yeah.
vegan. Okay, so we'll tell you all about that and what kind of great food you can make in raw, because actually the more raw you're eating, the more you're getting quality food. And what is it like, and what's it done for her body, and what it's done for me, maybe a little bit, because I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And just, everybody's so worried about what's my food going to taste like. I mean, it's flavor, flavor is
Yes,
important. And I
exactly.
am absolutely 100% committed to flavor myself. But as it happens, I'm a good cook. So it turns out you can have flavor, regardless of what you eat. So we'll talk
True.
about your experience with food, and maybe I'll throw my 5 cents in next time.
I would love
So
to.
thank you so much. It's been the most fascinating discussion. I can't wait to just pay more and more and more attention to breath. I've decided, I'm committed. I feel completely inspired.
Wonderful.
Um, if any of you guys have watched any of our talks before, we did have a talk with somebody called Joanne Farrell, who is a breathwork practitioner, last week, and you guys can go down on my Facebook if you want to catch that interview. It was a very interesting interview. Do you know of anybody also that you specifically have worked with that has been amazing?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
So go to Joanne Farrell, have a look at that. Those teachings, here they are coming at the bottom. Can you just check that that's spelled right for me, please? At the bottom of the screen. Do you see it, Martel?
Anapanasati, it's just one word. So
Oh, okay.
small is one word, but it's perfect spelling, yes.
All right. Small s, one word. And I'm going to fix that. So that's something that you can go and look up if you're interested. And I'll put all my details down below. So if you want to get hold of me at all around about the work that I do, you're very, very welcome to do that. There we go. Is that right?
Yes, Anapanasati,
Okay.
my love of my life. When I see that
So,
word, my heart beats warm.
oh, that's fantastic. So have a look at this, my details below if you wanted to get hold of me at all. Please know that I do a free live coaching session every Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock. It's called Angel Circle. And if you want to join that live coaching session, you're very welcome. Anybody is welcome. They don't have to be clients of mine currently, or even intending to be clients of mine in the future. If you're looking for some free coaching session in a group, listen to what other people are asking, what experience they're having with the coaching that can maybe help you a little bit in your own life. It's Angel Circle. It's on a Thursday at 4 p.m. And you just have to drop me an email, and I will pop you on that list and give you the reminder. Let me just find my details here. Oh, there we go. Here's my information and the Healing Through Breath from Joanne, who was interviewed last week. So I'm info at cloud-9.co.za, and you can get hold of me and I'll put you on my Angel Circle list. Also, please know that I have a YouTube channel that has loads of videos. These interviews will be live on the YouTube channel, but there will also be, there's lots of videos about how to help yourself to find your self-worth, your self-love, your self-esteem, how to find that center of yourself and get rid of all this BS thinking that just keeps you in the state of choppiness that just makes you feel like you're not worthy or not having a great life. So I've got lots of videos on the work that I do, and they are free for you to help yourself, to help to guide you into a better space in your life. And my own program, Love Yourself, Love Your Life, is a 3-month program, and I work one-on-one with people doing that, and sometimes do some talks in corporate. So if you're interested in that, you can go and visit my website as well and have a look at all of that. So my website is www.cloud9.co.za, but that'll also be below. So all of my stuff will be below. And Martel, if somebody wanted to get hold of you, maybe on Facebook or to chat or
Yes,
whatever, would that be possible for you to speak to somebody if they were really looking for a bit of
yes,
guidance? And
yes,
okay,
yes.
so then
Especially if you're at, like I said, at the edge
that
and
may.
you don't know what to do. Yes, yes.
Okay,
Very
so Martel
welcome.
is not a psychologist. She's not a therapist. She's just had experiences in her life that have been really, really helpful to her. and perhaps they can be really helpful to you. Either just know that she's not a trained professional, so she's not taking any responsibility for your mental health. She's just going to help you take responsibility for your own mental health.
Yes.
Absolutely. So will you pop onto Facebook as well and just put your details below on the Facebook? Just add a comment with your details so that if somebody needs to get hold of you, they can.
Okay.
Thank you so much for a fabulous, fabulous session. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're very welcome. It's been a sweet pleasure. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.